Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to introduce you to our tattoo directory. This is a place where you're going to be able to look up artists from wherever in the world that you are in a very intuitive way using a map interface where you can zoom in and scroll through all the artists that are within like your region. So you can, let's say you are in Pakistan. I don't know why I picked Pakistan, but or should I pick some interesting place? What is happening that is interesting right now? Iraq, Syria. Okay, let's say you're in Morocco. Yeah, there's you can see that the studios, the artists, and the venues are sort of color coded. So the artists are the profiles of artists, and then the studios are like studios that also have a profile, so you can have a number of artists working from within a studio and it can also be displayed in that way. And then there's venues as well, which are like they can be studios or locations that people like rent out to tattoo artists who are traveling or visiting a certain area and want a space to work from. So I also think that could eventually turn into a business that could be a thing. This is why I think that venues might actually become a significant portion of what people will be looking for in the future when it comes to tattooing. So when you go on the map and you zoom in on any of these, you don't even need to zoom in on anything. You can even just enter the location where you are. Let's say you're in London, and then you hit enter. Then you can immediately see like right in the city, there's the city of London. Not that I've ever been there. You can see so these are the studios that you can find there. You can even view the profile. And the profiles that you see for the most part are ones that have been created from publicly available listings and profiles that people have put up there so that they can be found. And the vision for this whole directory is that hopefully that more people would sign up on the by themselves and actually maintain their own profiles, and this would make the whole like directory that much more useful. So there is a process where you can either report an issue if you open up a profile that you see an issue, or if it's your profile, then you can go through a process of claiming that profile. Then you can update the information on the back end of the profile. So you need to either prove that you're the one who owns the socials associated with the profile, or the contact information, or the email address associated with the profile, and then you can then manage it on this platform. I think it's going to become a useful resource to be found if you are an artist that is looking for another way to be discovered outside of the usual suspects, which are the social media platforms that we already know and love. I think this could be a place where you could be found in a much more easy and intuitive way. And then once you have a full profile, users will be able to even book an appointment directly with you. You'll be able to show the way that you work, or any information that people would want to see about your profile as an artist. If you have a portfolio, this is where you'd be showing some of the work that you've done. Unfortunately, this artist has not done that many to show off here. I think I was just trying to show off the stencil generator and then the tattoo that I did after having used the stencil generator. I should probably upload a lot more profile images of the tattoos that I've done or can do. Hopefully people come in for a lot more interesting stuff. And then if you have published any AI generations, they can also be seen on your profile, the ones that you have set to public, and people can always view what you've created on your profile. And then if you have offerings, these are like products. They could be physical products, this could be digital products that you are offering in the shop. They would also be shown here within your profile. And then if We have a calendar where your availability can be displayed. You can obviously manage how you want your availability to be handled. You can block spaces out that you don't want, that you want to be displayed as unavailable. And yeah, and then we have a system where you can also set certain times to a premium rate. If you're someone who wants to offer different rates for different times, there's times where you might be really in demand, and maybe some people might be willing to pay a premium for your time in those times. And then yeah, but this is all very customizable right within your profile as an artist. But then right now we're looking at this as a client who wants to book. So this is what the clients will be looking at within your and then if you want to request an appointment, we've tried to make the process very intuitive, but I'd really like some actual real user feedback. So if you try to make an appointment on our platform, I'd really appreciate you giving me feedback of what the experience is like, or what you think needs to be improved. Maybe there's something that's not working the way that it's supposed to be working. I really would like this to be a very smooth user experience. The consultations, the tattoos, you can be booking for any type of session basically. So it could be a consultation that you want to book for, you want to touch up, you want a session, maybe you just want someone to talk to. You know, some artists might charge for that, I guess. And then you can just send your request. If you have some images that you want added with your request, you can add those as well. Yep, then we can go back to the directory where you can look at the rest of our listings. So these the listings are in purple, and then the studios are in blue, or rather they're in blue here. And now that I'm actually looking at it and making this video, I feel like it would be a lot more intuitive if the studios, since they are in blue here, they should also be reflected in blue there. Probably by the time you go and check it out, that's what it will be. And the venues are green. Okay, so we need the venue green also here. So that's how they color coded. And then let me open up my artist's dashboard. So this is after you've created a profile. You then have an artist dashboard that looks like this, where you can manage the bookings that you could make from that other end that we were just looking at. So this is your booking management. So this would be your calendar section, where you can manage your calendar. And then this would be your availability. So you can set your own availability. How many days of the week do you work? The hours that you work. You want to add a certain slot. If you want to set up that you work every single day, it's absolutely fine. Then you can also connect this to your Google Calendar, so that your calendars are just synced with your Google Calendar. So if something is updated on your Google Calendar, it would then appear on your calendar here as well. And someone who's going to be looking at your calendar on here would be able to have a more in real-time assessment of how your calendar is, without even the back and forth. That's if you want that information to be available to your clients. If you're really busy, maybe it would help that, you know, clients actually know when you're busy and when you're not, and try to make appointments that would be convenient for them in that way. The whole idea and the whole concept of this is just to try and reduce the friction that exists between the whole process of trying to get a tattoo and communicating and making bookings. I think I've dwelled enough on that point. So your portfolio is where you upload whatever work that you want displayed on, and then you can set it either to be public or private. So you can upload your portfolio images in the portfolio section, but they don't become automatically public until you specifically set it to be And then any of the images that you ever upload, be it through any AI image alteration or anything that you ever upload, all of your uploads will be seen here in your portfolio gallery section inside of your own private profile there. These will be your messages, so any communications that have gone on between you and any other user on the platform, you can always go and view your messages in there. That's the profile view count and products. So this is the section where if you want to submit a product for review, you can enter whatever product you want to enter, and then pick what sort of category it might fall into. It could be tattoo supplies, it could be artwork, it could be painting, custom equipment, aftercare products, even tattoo machines or anything. And we're gonna review whatever products you're gonna be trying to submit before making them publicly available and for people to buy. Yeah, so these would be your submissions, and after they've been published, you'd see your published products in this section here. There's also some resources, or like a resource section inside of each artist's dashboard. I have some really basic aftercare instructions for piercings, tattoo, and laser tattoo removal. So if you're just starting off and you really don't have a system for aftercare or something to offer people to look at, you can absolutely look at these for reference, tweak on them in any way that you would like, or use them as they are, because they are very close to what I'm using as aftercare instructions for my own clients. And then there's a book that I wrote a while ago about how to become a professional tattoo artist. Initially wanted to put it for sale and tried to sell it, but I think with the way information is going now, I think information is more useful if it actually gets into the people's hands for free. So you can download it as a free ebook on inside of your resource section here. And then I put together some templates for whether you want a piercing consent, tattoo consent, or a laser consent form. They can always be a lot more sophisticated than what I have on here. And I'm also looking for feedback as to what you think needs to be added or removed from any of these resources. I'm not saying this is by any means the standard or the best out there, but I think it's a starting point, and I think it's a point where at least from this point it's available to everyone, and it can only get better from here. So that's that. I would like to add some tutorials and all kinds of resources for tattoo artists to have access to. So if you're someone who has a tutorial or a course that you want offered, like to other artists for free, and you're willing to partner up to have it also listed here, I think I'd really appreciate that, and I think a lot of people would also really appreciate that, and it would just make this whole resource section a lot more resourceful and informative or helpful. I think that's the word. And then there's a compliance section that I've set up specifically for the region of South Africa, though. If this really does become something that's more of an international platform or base, which is kind of the vision, I'd like these compliance sections to be tailored to each region, because you have different regulations in different places, and then there's places where it's sparsely regulated, and maybe over time we could have enough of an information resource to even help like some governments implement some helpful regulation that could just keep everything safe. Because obviously when you're tattooing, you're breaking open the skin, and there's always potential for spreading disease or harm in some way. So there's always a need to be cautious and careful. Although I'm not trying to say that tattooing should become overly regulated and stuff, but I hope, yeah. So there's a lot of artists that operate that I know that could use some of this information and be able to operate and do what they love in a much more legal and structured way. For medical waste, there's a few bylaws that exist in South Africa where you have to be using a medical waste services handler for any of the medical waste that you generate. So that would be your shops or anything that you might consider, medical waste. And I'm using Compass, which is why I featured them specifically. I think they are very reasonable, very convenient to use. They're also very affordable. They make it such that it's almost the same as just having your normal trash taken, and you can schedule like a time a week that they can come and collect whatever you might have for them. And yeah, they've been amazing. There's a number of them that you can use, but yeah, for me, this is the one that I know. Not saying that is the best, but it's I'd highly recommend. If you want to look at the National Waste Act, you can just go on and download it on there, and then there's a waste compliance guide that you can download on there. And then for accounting, the plan was to partner up with an accountant. So if you're an accountant who's looking for extra work, I think there's a real opportunity within the space of tattooing where there are people who are making a decent amount of money but need help compliant, with more of the mainstream financial structure of the civilized society. I don't know why I had to put the civilized society into that statement, because it's as if I'm saying that it's not civilized to not be compliant with the tax. That's not what I'm saying at all, because sometimes people feel like if they register, then they would be immediately liable for sort of tax, and they are afraid of sharing anything because they feel like they're not making much at all. But when you actually understand how the tax laws are structured, they are in a lot of ways structured to help you grow. But I guess they to help you grow to a point that you become a fat cow that can be milked. But you don't have to be afraid of, because you avoid the growth by trying to operate outside of the regulatory frameworks, because you make a lot of money and you can't go into the bank to ask for a loan to buy a house, and you can't get a loan to get some equipment. It's like it stifles your progress, which is why I felt like it's important to kind of maybe shed some light on it and make the information and resources that much more easily available. And sorry about that long unnecessary lecture, but yeah, this is the artist's dashboard. It's tried to make it simple, but now that I'm saying everything out loud and trying to explain it, it still feels like it's not very simple, and it could be made a lot more simpler. But I'd like your feedback and input on where you think we need improvement, or what you like, what you don't like. Yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for today. Until next time, take care.